find it in Luke chapter 5. One day, Jesus was standing by the Sea of Galilee, and the crowd pressed in on him to hear the word of God. He saw 2 boats moored by the side of the lake. The fishers had disembarked and were washing their nets. Jesus stepped into one of the boats, the one belonging to Simon, and asked him to pull out a short distance from the shore. Then, remaining seated, he continued to teach the crowds from the boat. When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, "Pull out into the deep water and lower your nets for a catch." Simon answered, "Rabbi, we've been working hard all night long and have caught nothing. But if you say so, I will lower the nets." Upon doing so, they caught such a great number of fish that their nets were at breaking point. They signaled to their mates in the other boat to come and help them, and together they filled 2 boats until they both nearly sank. After Simon saw what happened, he was filled with awe and fell down before Jesus, saying, "Leave me, Rabbi, for I am a sinner." For Simon and his shipmates were astonished at the size of the catch they made, as were James and John, Zebedee's sons, who were Simon's partners. Jesus said to Simon, "Do not be afraid. From now on you will fish among humankind." And when they brought their boats to shore, they left everything and followed Jesus. The gospel of Christ. Please be seated. On this, the first Sunday of the season of creation, when we pause to contemplate the ocean, I want to clarify something for a moment. Spellcheck kept wanting to correct my sentences, the grammar device in the computer, because I kept saying it was Ocean Sunday and kept using the singular version in all my sentences. And it took a while to figure out how to do it, but the reason that I'm using the word ocean in the singular sense is the reality that there is only one ocean. Even though we call it by many names, there is one ocean. One ocean that covers 71% of the Earth's surface, one interconnected body of water, an ocean that contains 321 million cubic meters of water. This one gigantic ocean contains 97% of the Earth's water, in which somewhere in the neighborhood of 250,000 different species of life make their home. Only about 5% of the Earth's ocean has been explored by humans, just 5%. And the truth is that we humans know so very little about the ocean. We do not know more than an inkling of what exists in the depths of the ocean. We do know that at its deepest point, the ocean reaches a depth of some 6.8 miles. 6.8 miles down into the deep darkness. Now, for me, the ocean has always been what the Celts describe as a thin place, a place where the divine permeates our being, a place where all the divisions that we have constructed between the sacred and the ordinary disappear. A distant memory of my small barefooted self clutching a bucket and a spade, splashing in tide pools, humming an old song. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. A memory that brings with it the sweet, salty smell of the sea. I have not always been as landlocked as I am now. Childhood memories of trips to the seaside in Northern Ireland, followed by high school memories of skipping class to play amongst the waves youthful excursions sailing up the coast of British Columbia, and long, refreshing, wonderful walks on Vancouver's seawall. The sea positively permeates through these memories into my very senses. And these memories are so sweet and so vivid that I can almost hear the sound of waves lapping on the shore, bringing with them the sure and certain knowledge that life is sweet and good. Oh, I do like to be beside the seaside. I do like to be beside the sea. When my dad was just a teenage boy, he joined the British Merchant Navy. And his years spent traveling the Earth's ocean spawned a healthy respect in him for the power of the sea, a deep, abiding respect that he engendered in his daughter. To this day, while I do like to be beside the seaside, the deep, dark, open waters of the ocean with their unknown secrets still inspire fear in me that can make my land-loving legs tremble. What lurks beneath the sea from which our ancient precursors first emerged? What is down there? Deep, deep darkness harbors mysteries of our origins over which the creator of all that is brooded over the waters, and the Rahuk swept over the face of the deep, drawing forth life. Our primal memories of the sea, inspired perhaps by the breaking of the waters that heralded our own birth. Some 4 billion years ago, the miracle of tiny living cells percolating in the depths remains a mystery we long to unravel. 600 million years ago, life miraculously moves onto the land out of the waters of our gestating mother, the earth. Life emerges in all its magnificent complexities. Staring down into the depths of the ocean, I have often been struck by the magnitude of my own insignificance. And yet, here I am. Here you are. Here we are. All of us floating along in the blue boat home that we call Earth. Even as sisters and brothers, cousins and friends in the Southlands prepare themselves for the power of the oncoming rush of the ocean's fury, storms rage upon the ocean each and every day. But not until the ocean threatens to encroach upon the lands do we shift our gaze and wonder at the depth of life's mysteries. Knowing that in the coming days, like Job shaking his fist at the heavens, there will be those in the path of the storm named Dorian who will be left with nothing but their own shaking fists with which to protest the cruel vicissitudes the powers of the ocean have swept over them. Dorian comes from the Greek word meaning a gift, as if such fury could be tamed by a name. This gift storm will surely stir us, if for but a moment, from the momentum of our lives, inviting us to spare a thought for our fellow creatures. Recalling our connections one to another inspires a kind of concern that causes some to exclaim, "There but for the grace of God." A kind of trivial response of inconsequential value in the face of such suffering. Is it any wonder that the God of our ancestors scorns our shaking fists in our sacred scriptures? Where out of the storm Yahweh can be heard to demand, "Who is this obscuring my plans with such ignorant words?" Dare we turn the page to seek comfort in a later text? As from the confines of a small boat, Jesus directs us out into deeper waters? Do we have the courage to risk deeper waters? I wonder. Before a storm, the calm upon the surface inspires such confidence in us as we quietly navigate without risk. As storms rage, the temptation is to rush to the shore and abandon our small boats. Even if there are fish out there to be caught, why take the risk? After all, we've been working hard for years and have caught nothing and lost more than we can bear. Our boat is so very small. Our spirits weary. And still Jesus says, pull out into deep water. In the midst of the turbulence, we long for calm, clear waters in which to sail. Fearful of the depths, can we hear Jesus urging us to go deeper? Deeper, where pretensions have floated to the surface and given way to authentic connections. Deeper, where we must hone our focus in order to see what really matters. Deeper, where conscious communication opens our lungs so that we can breathe with compassion. Deeper, where the love that lives in us longs to stir us beyond our fear. Deeper, where mystery dwells, compels, and empowers. Deeper, where darkness gives birth to awakening. To this day, while I do like to be beside the seaside, the deep, dark, open waters of the ocean with their unknown secrets inspire a fear in me that can make my land-loving legs tremble. And yet, here I stand, clutching my bucket and my spade, full of visions of castles yet to be built in the sand, nursing my fears that the crashing waves might just wash it all away. And somewhere, from deep, deep within, I hear the words of Jesus, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Pull out into deep water. Go deeper still. May the one who gave birth to the ocean fill us with the courage to go deeper still. Deeper, where the love that lives in us longs to stir us beyond our fear. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Amen.